have to go anywhere because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
All right, this is the Talk Beat Jones. And again, family, I am Billy E. Jones. And of course, Talk Beat Jones, we're on the air live every Wednesday from 10 a.m. until 11. And of course, you can watch us on a Sunday from 4 to 5 on 15.2. You can also go to YouTube, TV33 on demand, and you can pick us up when we're in queue 365 days out the year. Yeah, you can. Is it 325, 365, whatever you choose? You can watch us on YouTube. But again, don't forget you can go to RJ Watkins' page and you can watch us right now live. You can participate because we'll put numbers on the screen and you'll be able to call in if that's what your choice is. Otherwise, you can kick back and enjoy the entertainment that I'm going to bring to you right about now because I've got a wonderful, great guest. Entertaining talk on the Talk Beat Jones with Billy Jones, and I'm going to bring my guest on right now because I'm not going to do a whole lot of talk. I'm going to bring him on so he can talk a little bit. Sir, would you please introduce yourself to the worldwide audience on the Talk Beat Jones show?
Absolutely. So happy to be here. My name is Edward Foxworth III. Just excited to really be here with Mr. Jones. This is a real treat. I haven't done television in a little while, and it's fun to be able to get back to this craft that I love so much.
Well, I'll tell you what, I mean, worldwide audience, like I said, this is to me a wonderful treat because when you have a man that I admire, and I'm not a person to tell you that I admire this many folks, because I think that what I do behind the microphone is kind of like different. And this man here is a person I look and say, boy, he got style, he got class, he knows how to handle the microphone, he knows how to connect with the audience. That is a person that I could emulate. Why did I say I could emulate? Because I was the new guy in the city of Detroit, coming and finding and watching a person that was just immaculate to me in making a presentation over the airways, whether it was radio or television. So tell us, what made you who you are, Mr. Foxworth?
Well, I mean, I think I've got an age-old story, and that really is good parents.
Mm-hmm.
I had great upbringing, a good family. Again, we weren't traditional, and it wasn't until I became an adult to realize that we might have had some things that will be classified as dysfunctional.
Okay.
But I think really that upbringing, someone constantly in my ear pushing, seeing what it was that they wanted for me and what I wanted, and putting those two things together. And so I've built on that and kind of moved forward and hoping that I could achieve some dreams that would make them proud.
Where are you from?
I'm originally from New York, a little city called Peekskill, New York.
Wait. Now, New York.
Yeah.
Now, give us an understanding about being from New York, because a lot of folks have different understanding about New Yorkers.
Yeah, I know. They call us all kinds of names, Yankees and everything else. But yeah, New York, big melting pot, very diverse, a lot of different nationalities, people who come that really just want to try to get ahead. New York is a different place. And I always say, and like the song that they have, if you can make it there, you really can make it anywhere because there's so much going on that you've got to keep your feet firmly planted on the ground and make sure that you're focused in on what you want to achieve.
What gave you the bounce to come to Detroit?
I followed someone who's now no longer my wife.
Okay. I know that experience.
Yeah, and she got a career here in broadcast media, and if anybody knows me, they know who she is, and so.
Is it okay to give her name?
Yeah, Frankie Dorcel.
Oh no!
Okay.
No, not
that was
Frankie.
a real shock for you, huh?
Oh my goodness, another one, family.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Icon.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh my goodness.
So we both were in media and broadcast media, and we traveled here from Charlotte, North Carolina. So I left from New York, went to college at HBCU, Johnson C. Smith University in Charlotte.
Shout out.
And then we met, and we then moved here to Detroit in 1993.
Well, I tell you what, I'm getting a double dose of treats today. I tell you what, because again, Frankie Darcell is a person that I also listened and followed on the radio.
Yeah. Great
Fantastic,
voice.
great voice, great presentation, great presentation.
Yep.
And so I'm looking and I see that you dealt with the broadcast media, and I wanted to ask you, for folks who don't understand, and like I said, I have a worldwide audience, and folks in some cases are learning. This is also a teaching type of position for folks who learning English, learning communication, learning how to speak, learn how to have an interaction of conversation, etc. So when we say broadcast media, could you give us a little taste of what that meant to you when you were doing, or as you're doing your thing, when you say broadcast media?
Yeah, sure. I landed a position with CBS Detroit, and having landed that position after I started doing some things on my own, I wanted to really take people to places that they might not otherwise travel to. And so when I decided that radio and TV were things that I wanted to do, and I commonly heard that I had an industry quality voice. And quite honestly, I didn't think twice about it. I was playing basketball,
Oh, he's tall,
around
y'all.
Yeah.
I came in, I looked up, I said, oh, man, you tall.
And just doing a variety of different things. And then, people encouraged me in the community and said, you know what, you ought to try radio. And that's where I started. I did some things with Mildred Gaddis.
Mildred, yes,
also
another
did some
another
things,
icon.
Yeah, did some things with Mason. In the morning.
Now, I'm going to say this. Of everybody, Mason, to me, is the number one person. Number one. Everybody else is close. Mason is the number one. He has his style. Nobody can emulate, duplicate what Mason brings. Man, I'm getting some nuggets today, bro.
So that broadcast media really kind of kick-started me. And I remember one moment actually was co-hosting with Mildred. And someone called in when we took a break, and they said, wow, who is that guy who's on there with you? Because I'd like for him to do a commercial for me.
Yes.
And she told him my name, and at the time I was at CBS doing a show called Street Beat.
I was going to ask you about Street Beat.
And she said, yeah, she gave him my name and everything, and then told him that I was available to do the commercial. It was a 60-second spot. And I had never done anything like that before. And he said, well, great. Can you come in tomorrow, do the 60-second commercial spot, and I'll pay you?
What?
And I had no idea about what to charge. I turned to Mildred and I said, hey, how much should I charge? She said, you've been on television. Charge him $200.
Okay.
I said, great. Came in the next day, read over the script a couple of times, went in the production room, and 60 seconds later, I was $200 richer.
Hey, that's what it's all about.
I left out of there really feeling like, wait a minute, $200, 60 seconds. How many of these can I do, in a day, in a week, in a month to really begin to launch this career? And
that's
from
right.
there, I just continued to do what I was doing on CBS.
Now, you mentioned Street Beat.
Yeah.
Give us a little history and give us an understanding. What were you the creative director, person that brought it to the airways Street Beat?
No, Street Beat had existed before me. Some may remember Amir Jacobson, and she was an icon with CBS UPN 50, and had done that show for a little while, and then she passed it on to, I think the lady's name was Tyra Wall. I came in after Tyra and picked up the show as the community affairs director.
Okay.
And again, that was the whole premise, to be able to take people to communities that they really had not been to. We went to Southwest Detroit. We would go to different businesses. We would go and interact with people who were doing some magnificent things in the community. And that, for me, was the reward, to be able to showcase really what people were doing.
That is where I got cued into you.
Yeah.
That's where I really got cute. And, I know you were with Mildred, but that was where I really got my eyes, my ears, and my spirit tuned into you.
Yeah. Thanks.
Now, would you do one other thing? What is American Entrepreneur?
American Entrepreneur. Wow, that was another show that I created and then partnered with Impact Network, who a lot of people may be familiar with. They're in 3 states, Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio at the time. Now they've expanded. They've gone a whole lot more beyond that. But they saw what I was doing when I left CBS and wanted to pick up on some content. I created a show called American Entrepreneur, really to profile those individuals who were waking up and trying to figure out a way to not have a 9-to-5.
Give us a little something on that. Give me some more meat on that bone.
Yeah, so American Entrepreneur really was designed to say, okay, tell me what it is that you need. And so often entrepreneurs, as you know,
Yes.
they're juggling all kinds of things. They're doing business development. They're taking out the trash. They're trying to, do the marketing. They're doing content creation. And I wanted to be able to find a way to help them really kind of shorten their load about what it was that they needed to do and show them good examples of entrepreneurs who in fact had succeeded. Detroit is filled with a lot of very inspiring people.
Yes.
And I wanted to find those people, bring them on the show, and then be able to have them share little nuggets about how they succeeded.
Well, you're still a young man. Is that something that you're still working through and with?
Yes, I am. I actually teach for Wayne County Community College District and the University of Phoenix, and one of the courses that I teach is entrepreneurship. I've just written a second book because my first book is Finding My Focus, but I've written a book around entrepreneurship, which really helps people to put together a business plan. So, yes, it is.
Now, you said that was your first book.
Yes.
And so is that book still available?
Oh, no, the entrepreneur book is a brand new book.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Finding My Focus.
Well, let's go back. Let's rewind.
Yeah, okay.
Let's rewind.
Sure.
Because I thought, and I'm looking and I'm seeing Finding My Focus. Can you hold?
Yeah,
Can you show me this
absolutely.
book right
Sure.
here?
Now, this is actually for you.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Now we're going to hold this up and talk to me about Finding My Focus a bit.
Finding My Focus is a guide. It's a compact workbook. It's engaging in terms of helping people to really sit down and figure out where they're trying to go. So we got all this noise that's around us, and what we don't do is really begin to get a little selfish. I know selfish sounds like a bad word to some people.
Oh,
but,
no. Okay.
yeah.
Can you do this? I like to do this because I'm glad you mentioned that, and don't lose your thought. Would you tell the world that when sometimes people say, oh, you're selfish, would you explain to people what selfish actually means?
Yeah, selfish in my vocabulary really means taking care of yourself.
Thank you, sir.
Figuring out who you are and then doing the things that help you to move forward to wherever you want to go. Really just taking care of yourself. You hear people talk about self-care. You hear people talk about, going to the spa and doing facials and all the rest of those kinds of things. And that's part of it. But it really is figuring out what's most important in my life that I need to do, because when I'm full, I can take care of all the other responsibilities that I have around me. So being a little selfish to really take care of your focus is what this is about.
Because people throw that word out so often. Oh, you're just selfish.
Yeah.
And they try to use in a negative connotation to make a person feel bad.
Yeah.
But when a person tells me, Billy, you're selfish, say, thank you. Thank you.
Right.
Because you know what? If you was on the airplane has a problem, guess what the steward is going to tell you? If something happens and the situation that gives you the air drops down, don't take care of your baby. Don't take care of your mama. Don't take care of your daddy that's laying there having problems. You first put that air on you. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of nobody else.
That's right. That's right.
Huh?
You can't pour from an empty cup.
Think about it.
You
Think
can't
about
pour
it.
from an empty cup.
So we want to, before we go to a commercial break,
Yeah.
we still got a lot of time. So I want to kind of regress before we let's go to the book for a minute, and then we'll move further before we get into your newer book as well.
Okay.
But tell me some things that I'm going to find as I'm going through finding my focus. I like the title
Yeah.
because it says finding my
That's right.
focus, not
There you go.
your focus.
Yeah.
Finding my focus
Yeah.
to help me understand what I'm trying to accomplish in life, how I can get over the hurdles that's presented and the obstacles that's put out in front of me that has got me off my game, that I got to refocus if I'm going to be successful. Is that somewhat what we're talking about?
Oh, boy, you hitting it right on. You must have snuck a peek at my book while we were on break there, because you're hitting right on the points.
Well, I've got wonderful teachers, Mr. R.J. Watkins, Mr. Henry Tyler, and of course Mr. Chuck Johnson, Soulbeat Television. So they've helped me find my way, doing things and many things, but finding my way to what I love to do, which is television. Been doing this since the late 80s, 90s.
Yeah, that's excellent.
But it comes from being mentored, and since I've been in Detroit, mentored by Mr. R.J. Watkins, Mr. Henry Tyler, and also Mr. J.D. Hill.
Ah,
Okay?
yeah,
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Rest in peace, Mr. Hill. So this book, I'm going to gobble it up.
good.
I'm gonna eat this up because I realize this is something that I need to help me stay on top of my game or get on top of my game. Help me
Yeah.
understand about this, sir.
Yeah, so there are 15 different strategies in there, really to help you maximize your passion, your talents, and your relationships. And a lot of people really, I'd love to see them get used to the idea that relationships, and one of the things in the book talks about relationships over resumes. Powerful title there that, I probably had about 12 jobs in my life. And 9, maybe 10 of them have all been as a result of relationships. I very rarely have applied for any job that I wanted. I've gotten a phone call or a text late at night telling me, hey, somebody's looking for somebody with your skill set. Relationships matter. And I think that's part of, once you fill yourself up, then you got to be kind and nice. Heck, I ran into you
Yes,
as a
sir.
result of relationships.
Yes, sir.
And conversation. And so I think maximizing your passion, your talents, and your relationships, there's so many people who sit at home and they wring their hands and they wish that they were further ahead in their life. They wish that they had achieved some things
Go ahead
by
and teach,
now.
brother. Go ahead and teach.
And I won't teach too much because I want them to buy the book and,
I know,
and write
but
it up.
that's why you're here.
Yeah, that's right.
That's why you're here,
I hear
because
that. I hear that.
I got audience, friends, and families from around the world
Yeah.
that are wondering, how can I get this up? And you're gonna have to let them know, of course, how to get this book.
Oh, yeah.
But I want you to go ahead and teach.
Yeah.
Because Mr. J.D. Hill, when he'd be on the air,
Yes.
I'd be on the other side and I'd be hollering, teach, teach. Folks would be calling in and tell Mr. Hill, would you tell that guy to be quiet? Will he
Oh,
stop?
yeah, right.
And Mr. Hill would look at him and keep on going and have me still out there hollering, teach, sir,
Yeah.
teach.
No, that's true. That's true. We all have passions. We all are trying to get somewhere. We all want success
Yes.
for our families and
Yes.
ourselves. We're creating a legacy every single day that we wake up. Every day that we go to sleep, we look back on our life and we got to figure out just what we did today
Yes.
that helped us move further. And I really want people, when they look at Finding My Focus, when they read through that book, I want them to be able to walk away with a new perspective on life, a new feeling for what they can achieve. There's so many people, when they look at their lives, they tend to beat themselves up, and I want to encourage them not to.
Yes.
I don't have this much money. I don't have these kind of clothes. I'm not traveling like I'd like to. I don't live in the kind of house that I want to. I'm not driving what I wish I would. And I really want people to kind of give that a little bit of a break. And I won't jump into this too deep because I don't think you invited me here for this, but you got to have a
invited
degree.
you here to be Mr. Foxworth.
Yeah, I know.
This
But-
is your. First of all, family, I want him to understand.
Yeah.
And you see, family, nothing is pre-rehearsed. What you're hearing and seeing as things are being put together, it's on the air live.
Yeah.
I'm learning like you. That's why I'm saying you are Mr. Foxworth.
Yes.
This is your show today. So it's not about what Billy is thinking and
Yeah.
trying to think. I want you to be yourself. This is your audience on the Talk Beat Jones.
Yeah.
I'm just your sidekick today, sir.
Oh, no, not at all. You are the man. I really appreciate you.
Go ahead and hit him.
but
Go ahead and hit him up.
My faith in God has brought me so far. My grandmother on my father's side was a pastor. My sister is a pastor today. And so I've had people in the religious community around me. I've been involved in a variety of different situations and scenarios where my faith carried me through. And I just would say that in addition to what I'm talking about in the book, I really want people to get down on their knees. And I've heard somebody say, that when you take off your slippers at night, push them far underneath the bed so that in the morning you got to reach way down there to get down on your knees and thank God every single morning.
Excuse me, brother, but that's what I'm talking about. Hit him up, hit him up.
Oh, you got to do it.
Come on, bring it on, bring it on. Don't stop now.
No.
Don't stop now.
Yeah.
Come on, bring it.
So I think part of finding my focus is part of your journey, right? And we learn so much by looking back. We learn about our lives by looking back on where we've been, and we realize that, you know what, I was placed in this position at this time because it was important.
Yes.
And whatever is in front of me is going to be a continuation of some very fruitful things.
Yes.
Really speak positive to yourself on an ongoing basis. And I know it sounds cliche. And a lot of people get kind of, oh, yeah, it doesn't work. And it doesn't work in your timetable. And again, God has a time for you. Everything you do has a meaning and a purpose. And so I don't get too much into that and finding my focus, but I really want to make sure that people understand without that, you're going to be lost. You really are going to be lost. So I encourage people to really stay focused.
Yes,
Yeah.
I'll continue.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
We got time.
Yeah.
We got time. That's what I
Thank
said. You can relax because we got time.
I appreciate
I
that.
got, first of all, family, I am so thrilled. I am so thrilled
Yeah.
to have this man today.
Yeah.
I
Right.
mean, it's a dream interview. It's a dream scenario to have me sitting next to him today,
Wow.
to hear him speak. And there's so many things he's touching on that is like making me say, ooh,
Yeah.
ooh.
Yeah.
Just like when you talked about the pastors in the family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I speak about my father being the son of a minister. I talk about my mother being a church official. And when people say various different things, I say, you know what? God handles me. God handles me. When I'm up, he got me rising. And if I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do, he'll bring me down a peg and say, get it together. And I refocus, and he brings me back up.
Yeah.
No matter how far I fall in a ditch, I never lose my faith because God got me.
Yeah. That's powerful. That's powerful, and it's real. It's real, and I think, I run into people all the time who talk about thinking too much.
Yes.
And I think you've got to find that quiet time. You've got to be able to step away from the noise, from the family, from the spouse, a significant other, and be able to find some time that you can think about where you're going, what you want to achieve, and how you're going to get there. Begin to think about, and I heard this saying said that this person doesn't pick up the phone all the time because there are 3 or 4 things that people are calling for. They either call in to add to his life, take away something, or they're going to, in some way, share information. Now, if you're sharing information, then great. If you're adding, then great. But so often we find people who are always reaching out to us because they want to subtract. They want to take some things away. And I think that you've got to be able to classify just where people are. It's like a bank account. You take too many withdrawals, and what happens? You're overdrawn.
You're overdrawn.
Right?
That's right.
You got to have people around you who are going to be adding to your life, who
Yes.
are going to be making deposits,
Yes.
who are going to be lifting you up and encouraging you,
Yes.
right? That nurturing that needs to take place. I do this thing, Billy, that is called a mastermind group. And it's a small group of confidants. We get together on a monthly basis, and all we do is talk about what are you working on. This book, Finding My Focus, came out of my mastermind group.
Okay.
The mastermind group sat me down, and what we do in this group is we rotate the hot seat. So if we got 4 seats, 3 people will sit in one place, and the other person will sit at the head of the table.
Okay.
And it is that person for the entire meeting, might be an hour, might be 2 hours. We're only talking about what you want to do. So when I said I wanted to write a book, they started barraging me with all kinds of questions. Really, what's the book going to be about? When you going to write it? Where's the first chapters? How are you going to get the cover done? When will it be completed? Right? And I had to answer those questions. And when I gave them dates and a timeline, I had to make sure that it was done. And we allow people 3 times. After 3 times you say you're going to do something and then don't do it, well, then you've got to make sure that you can stay in the group, because you're likely to get kicked out.
Well, Mr. Foxworth, this that you're speaking of right there, I want to bring this back on the second half, because that to me sounds powerful.
Yeah.
You know, we talk about our friends and getting together with our friends, but the energy, the constructive energy, and how that's put together and how that's constructed, and what the folks are thinking who are sitting back and taking that other role, that they're there to take care of the person in the hot seat, to bring them up. So, family, I have Mr. Tell them who you are again,
Edward
sir.
Foxworth III. I'm author of Finding My Focus and have done broadcast media for some time. I certainly am happy to be here with Billy Jones.
And family, we will be right back after these commercial announcements. Remember, you tell your friends to like us, love us. This is the Talk Beat Jones. We're on air every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11. Of course, you can go to YouTube, TV33 on demand. Right now, tell your friends if they want to watch us live, they want to participate, go to R.J. Watkins' page. And, of course, on Sundays, you can watch us on 15.2 from 4 to 5. Be back shortly. We love you.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere, because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
Justice for Mario Willis. Truth. Facts. Evidence. Matter. Log into justiceformariowillis.com. Read for yourself.
You're watching Detroit's own WHPR TV. Detroit Live.
Hi, this is Billy E. Jones, Talk Beat Jones. You can watch me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on WHPR TV 33 Now app. Download our free app at WHPR TV Now.
Muscles, joints, or feet tired, achy, or distressed? Tried everything? Ringmaster Rubbing Oil is a vintage topical pain reliever, trusted for over 70 years, with a rich formula for the treatment of stubborn aches and pains. Packaged in a glass bottle for purity, our liquid can also be used in warm water for foot soaks and compresses. A little goes a long way. Try our time-tested formula, available in several sizes.
Make a donation to WHPR TV and receive 2 2-ounce bottles of Ringmaster Rubbing Oil for $25. Call 313-868-6612. Generational wealth. No risk, no reward. All entrepreneurs, get yours personalized with your business's name or logo. Order yours today. Go to our website, generationalwealthforlife.com. or call 313-220-9433. That's 313-220-9433. Generational wealth. No risk, no reward.
You know what it is, generational wealth.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere, because this is the Talk Beat Jones.
Having a wonderful, wonderful time on the Talk Beat Jones show. Again, I am Billy E. Jones, and of course the Talk B. Jones Show. We're on the air every Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 11, and of course on Sundays from 4 to 5 on 15.2. You can go to YouTube TV33 on demand, and of course you can go to R.J. Watkins' page. You can watch it live as we are speaking right now, or you'll be able to go scroll back later and watch it. And I'm just so thrilled that the author of this book is here with me today. Sir, would you please introduce yourself and introduce this book?
Absolutely. My name is Edward Foxworth III, and my book is Finding My Focus. It's a compact, engaging guide to really help people maximize their passions, their talents, and relationships.
I was asking, because I kind of forgot. We were covering so much. Can you go back and give me a little history of what brought up, what gave the makeup of Mr. Foxworth?
Yeah, I often share with people, my father was a Black Panther.
Oh, didn't know that.
Yeah, my father was a member of the Black Panther in New York, and I had two brothers and two sisters that I am the oldest of, and had the responsibility of helping my mom to really bring them up and to be responsible citizens.
I got to stop you just for a moment.
Yeah, sure.
What was it like in that time zone, being a child of a Black Panther?
Yeah.
Just give folks a little history, a little understanding of the attitude that it took for a person no longer to be a Negro, no longer to be just a colored person, no longer just to be another Black person, but to be a person of a different mindset.
Yeah.
And have a family. And what did you have to learn from your father as he was a Black Panther? Because they went through a lot.
They went through a whole lot. And, fortunately, unfortunately, those that are closest to you sometimes receive not all of the good things. I will honestly tell you that the strife and stress that law enforcement put sitting outside and across the street from my home in New York was what my father had to bring back into the house. I came from a home, and I'm not ashamed today to talk about it, that had to endure domestic violence.
Come on now.
Because the real pressure of that of what was put on to my father as an African American man who simply was trying to help the community. All of that the Black Panthers did in feeding the community, educating the community, and really helping them to realize that they are too human beings. And so it made me a tougher person. I carry my father's name. He's Edward Foxworth Jr.
Yes.
And it made me much more responsible for my life and the lives of everyone in my immediate family to actually grow up and to find a way to help people just like he has been.
Did you play ball?
I played basketball for Johnson C. Smith in Charlotte, North Carolina, and a little bit upstate New York and Rochester, New York.
Did you play ball with an attitude?
I had to.
There
was no other way.
Explain that, because it's part of your background in having a father who was a Black Panther. And people, I want to put this, being a Black Panther, the stress made the temperament of what they tolerated very thin at home.
Yeah.
Very thin, because of so much pressure that they went through all day 24/7. But at the same time, they gave you a certain type of attitude. Would you explain that, please?
Well, the attitude was every day to wake up with a mission-driven, purpose-driven life. I went on that basketball court with a mission. I was out there for a purpose. I didn't, in fact, go out there like so many people and just, jumping around and running up and down the court for the sake of jumping up and down and running. I was on a mission. I was trying to help to make sure that, one, I enjoyed myself, but I really was out there for my family, because I had hopes of being able to make it to the professional ranks.
That's right.
And why? Because I wanted to be able to make the money to be able to have my mother and my family live a much better life than they had. I went to college.
Yes.
With the same kind of mission, going to a historically Black college and university. I wanted to get down there and get an education. I was the first in my family, and to date, the only person in my family who actually went and got a college degree. And so going to an HBCU, I understood who I was. I had the background of what my father brought us up about being an African American man, and that you got to be twice as good.
Thank you.
And you really do.
Thank you.
I mean, I don't know. These cliches we say all the time, but once you've been out here on the battlefield for a little while, you begin to really understand that you can't go in and just be mediocre.
Yes.
You got to come in, and the words that you've been using, impeccable and well-mannered and all those other things, and that has to exist in everything. You got to get up in the morning and intentionally get dressed and make sure you look the part. What do people say about you when you walk in a room? What do you want them saying when you leave? So everything is with a purpose, and it's all mission-driven.
That is what I felt being from Oakland, California, the home of the Black Panther. But that's why I stated, and I'd never said this, and the man, like I said, we've never met.
Right.
So the things that I said about him emulates from the perspective that I picked up those vibes, the things that I wanted to present was being presented in his spirit and his soul. That's what attracted me. The spirit and the soul that he presented himself, not just as a black person, but as a person of distinction. That is what is so key to being that person that is above the levels of everydayness, makes them stand out differently than everybody else. Everybody can learn how to talk. Everybody can learn how to use the right words, and everybody can learn how to get that eye contact. But it's from your soul, your spirit, that grain that you brought up with, that edge that your life was put together with, that makes you different. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate those kind words and that observation. And those are words that are spoken from a person who really understands human behavior. And the fact that you were able to put that together and have been throughout this, the minutes that we've been here, you have shown me that you are very intuitive. You have great insight, and your experience comes through by being able to summarize things just by hearing several words or sentences that you can put together. And so I appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We were talking briefly, go back through some of your history of what brought you to the broadcast media, and again, hit the folks, let them know what that broadcast media, because in the end, I do want to get back to that hot seat. But
yeah. So the radio and television for me was a way that I could use what I was informed was an industry quality voice. And I give compliments all the time. I will run into someone at the supermarket, and I'll hear their voice, or I'll see their image and say, "Are you taking pictures? You ought to be taking pictures and send them to somebody. What are you doing with that industry quality voice? You have a great voice. You ought to just find a regular commercial that's already out there. Take a McDonald's commercial and put your own spin on it, right? And you just, McDonald's, I'm loving it, right? And you just say it in your own way, put it on an audio tape, and then send it. When I worked at CBS and UPN 50, one of the things I saw was that there were people that didn't look like you and I who were doing commercials for African-American commercial spots.
Okay.
And they would say they can't find quality voiceovers to do the commercial spots. And I'm saying, when I see people, you got a voice, or you got a look, you've got talent. Find out what that is, and that goes into that mastermind group. Get some people around you who can pour into you, who can really make sure that they understand, how to pull out what's so important. You said something during the break that I think people ought to understand. This isn't just about pouring into you, because these are talented people. They know that the table is going to rotate, and they're going to be in the hot seat, right? And so find 2, 3, 4 people, a small group, and really begin to set up a meeting. Now, I shared this with some people before, in the ladies, and this isn't a slant on ladies, but the ladies thought it was tea time. This was a time to go, let's have some cookies and talk about men and do all this. No. This is about business, right? And I shared before we took the break that The mastermind group is designed to have people pour into you and you pour into them.
Go back and set the whole thing up about
Okay.
the mastermind,
Yeah.
master folk group.
So a mastermind group is where you take 3, 4, 5 confidants, people who are good at what they do. So somebody might be good with numbers, somebody might be good at marketing, someone else might be good in just really understanding strategy and logistics. And you sit around and you have about an hour, 2 hours, however long it takes, and one person sits at the head of the table. Excuse me. And the other people will then ask questions. I use the example of how Finding My Focus came out of a mastermind group, and and it happened because I sat there in the hot seat, and they asked me questions. Okay, so you want to write a book. What is the cover going to look like? When are you going to get that done? What are the chapters that you're going to cover? Great. When are you going to get that done? What is the title? How many pages will it be? And they used to ask me these very tough questions. And so I wind up saying, you know what? I'm going to get them done, and here's the timeline. Once I listed that timeline, they held my feet to the fire. So if I said I want to have it done by X date, if I didn't have it done, I only had 3 opportunities where that would not take place. And then I was kicked out of the group. I would be kicked out of the group, or
Yes.
anybody would be.
Yes.
And so Finding My Focus is an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go far, go together.
Okay.
Right? And that's what I got out of this mastermind group, finding a small group of people that I can confide in and they can confide in me to help move the project forward. And the result is Finding My Focus, right? That's what I wanted to do, is to make sure that I understood what that focus was going to be about. They helped me to understand even bigger than that, a more macro thing, and that my passion is TTT.
TT.
Yes,
Explain that.
T3. Talk, teach, and train.
Got it.
What makes my palms sweat? What do I think about in the morning? What keeps me up at night that I don't want to go to sleep because I'm still thinking about it?
Yes.
What do I spring out of bed in the morning feeling good about doing? And that is talking, teaching, and training.
Wow. Wow. Did you get that, folks? Family, did you get that? Do you see why I said I got to have this man? I got to have this man because this man has so much to offer that this audience that had not potentially seen him or had a chance to be a part of his, you do talk engagements,
I do.
speaking
Yeah,
engagements.
I'm on a speaking circuit.
Talk
I
about that, please.
Yeah, well, I mean, I have I serve as an MC. I'm a host. I will speak at high school graduations. Really, kind of bringing messages that are relevant and purposeful for the audience that invites me out.
Now, for folks who will be watching this program today, but of course it goes into the YouTube, and persons will be picking it up throughout the year. Will they be able to call you upon viewing this show this month, next month, month after that, and hear this show and find out that you are potentially available for whatever event that they may be dealing with? And if so, is there a mechanism that they can go about contacting you at any given time?
Absolutely. If they want to email me, they can do so at efoxworth3 at gmail.com. That's efoxworth3 at gmail.com. Or they can call me at 313-420-7532.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on.
Okay.
Wait. I'm looking for my pen.
Yeah.
Because I know some folks saying, well, why don't you just use your phone? So while I'm trying to get this information down
Yeah.
and set you, can you do it again? Because
Yeah.
this is something that I know y'all trying to get something to write it down. So I'm trying to pause.
Okay.
Then do it one more time. But do it again, please.
My website first is edwardfoxworth.com. edwardfoxworth.com. And then they can email me at efoxworth3 at gmail.com. That's efoxworth3 at gmail.com. Or they can call me at 313-420-7532.
Now, when you're going to have your guys with you or ladies with you, and like I said, there's a hot seat, people have gotten dressed, they've gotten themselves prepared to come to get together, knowing that that evening is really not about them.
That's correct.
yet they have to come with that full energy. What is it like to spend your time or your day to think, I'm going to be with this group, and my whole thing, my whole being is about making that person greater. I cannot concern about myself this evening. What is that like to be that person not in the hot seat that's trying to support the other guy?
Yeah, if your energy is designed to really uplift, then sitting in that position where you're pouring into somebody is so powerful, because you're going there to make sure that whatever you are good at, again, if you're good at marketing, you're good at numbers, what you're bringing your full self to that interview. You're bringing your full capacity. You're not shortchanging the person sitting at the head of the table, because you want them to succeed in the end. And let me say something about that.
Yes,
the person that's sitting at the table that is in the hot seat has to have a thick coat of skin. You've got to you talk about born and raised in New York, you've got to bring a thick coat of skin, because you're going to be challenged. You're going to be pushed. You're going to be encouraged to be able to do some things that you might not have done had you not been in that mastermind group. You're like, yeah, I want to write a book. Yeah, I want to open a business. Yeah, I want to, travel. I want to be a model. Whatever it is, right? They're going to challenge you and put you on a timeline. Now, you don't want to get kicked out of the group. So it's going to create an opportunity for you to really focus in on what's important. Because when they told me I needed to produce a cover for the book, I needed to find a graphic designer. I need to take my ideas and share it with, that graphic designer in a way that I represented me, right? And I just encourage people to really think about where their life is headed. And, the cavalry's not coming. You've got to get up and motivate yourself. You've got to nobody's coming to wake you up in the morning. Nobody's telling you, to not spend that money, on something crazy, right? You've got to find the discipline to be able to focus in on you. I said selfish in the beginning when we talked.
Yes.
And you got to be very selfish. Hey, can I borrow $50 for what? Well, my electricity's about to cut off. Sounds like a you problem, right? You can do that once or twice.
Yes.
But if it becomes a habit, I have no problem helping people get over a hump, but I really want them to learn to do better by themselves, so that they don't become a crutch to someone else.
There are folks who people label as dreamers. They come up with an idea, but they never follow through with it.
Yeah.
Is it necessarily their fault, or is it the fault of how they choose the people around them that don't push them to make that dream, break it down to where it can actually happen?
Trust is a really serious challenge for a lot of people, and I think it's the latter of what you just said. People have to really get to a point where they are inviting people into their space and spending their time in a way that is productive, right? And when they don't do that, they have nobody else to blame. You can look back over your day. You can look back over the week. What did you do last week to get you where you said that you want to go? Right? And if you look back over your last week and say, yeah, I went and did this, I went and did that, I was at the club till 4 o'clock in the morning, I did that. Those things, did they help you get where you're trying to go? Are you trying to be a dancer or something? Because if you're trying to start a business, that might not be the place that you want to be unless you're trying to open up a club.
Yes. Going back real quickly to finding my focus, is there a place where they can get this book still?
Absolutely. Thank you for asking. Yes, edwardfoxworth.com. My website has the book on there, and actually when you order there, it's less expensive than on Amazon, and I send an autographed copy.
Okay.
So they can go to my website and get it there. But if they choose to, I know most of us are not supposed to be on Amazon. My book still lies out there, but if they wanted to order some for their youth organization, for individual use, then they can go to edwardfoxworth.com.
And that brings Okay. And also, let's see, go here and go here. Hello.
Hello, Billy.
Yes, sir. Mr. R.J. Watkins,
Yes, sir.
the man himself.
The man.
Family, I mean, look at, let me take a pause, Mr. Watkins, and say thank you, God. Yes, sir.
Hey, man, I like your guest. I like what he's talking about.
Yes, sir.
How you doing, Miss? How you doing, Edward?
Yes. How are you?
No, that's how you pronounce that? Fox?
Foxworth? Yes.
Foxwood, yeah. Right,
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting. I'm R.J. Watkins here, and I was calling into.
wanted to say
I might want to do a TV show with the group. I might want to see if we could create a TV show on what you're talking about.
Wow. That's big. Okay. Absolutely. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, I might want to. That should be real interesting. We could probably do it within an hour.
Yeah.
I just want to do. Let's we could shoot a pilot and see how it looks and see how it works out. But it would be real interesting to do every month or every 4 weeks. We'll change the group and we'll I don't know. It just sounds interesting.
Oh, isn't that something, man? I tell you, that is. Oh man, that's beautiful.
See what I'm talking about?
Yeah. See.
You see, family, I've got the man himself who got the greatest mind in this industry.
Yes, he does.
On the telephone, the man who owns the station that makes everything happen. He's creating something right on the go.
Yeah.
From what his station is presenting with Mr. Foxworth.
Yeah. No, I certainly appreciate that. You are a visionary. You have stood the test of time, and for you to make that offer, I'm humbled at that request, and would love to be able to participate.
So, if you could leave your number, Billy, give the information for me, and we'll talk later on.
Absolutely. Wow. Thank you so much. You made my day.
Thank you.
And Mr. Watkins, you definitely made my day. And you see, that's why I spoke earlier about the folk who trained me. Mr. Watkins brought me in, took me under his wing from the first time that I came to the station. And I was brought to the station by the gentleman that's back here producing, directing the program, Mr. Timmy Tim, who we had worked together at Soul Beat Television. But Mr. Watkins and Mr. Chuck Johnson from Soul Beat had a relationship from Oakland to Detroit way back in the day.
Oh, wow. Okay.
You see, so for him to come on the air, be watching and listening to this show live.
Sure.
And been intently listening to what you're saying, family. You see, this is no shuck and jive. This is serious. As little boys say, business. It's real business. And so I am thrilled. I am just beyond just so proud of what you have brought and are going to bring over the airways of TV 33, WHPR, WHPS. Because for this man, Mr. R.J. Watkins, to stop his busy schedule to get on the phone and give you a creative idea, because when he speaks, that's it.
Yeah. No, that's excellent.
And it also goes to what you spoke on earlier. You don't have to go out and look for a job. It comes to you because it's what? Relationships.
It's relationships.
Go back over that again.
Yeah, no, listen, Billy Jones called me, and as a result of calling me, I'm here today. As a result of, and this is how the story is going to be, and you got a chance to see it unfold right before your eyes. I hope people believe that this is real, that this wasn't staged or anything like that. As a result of our relationship and my past knowledge of Mr. R.J. Watkins and what he's heard relationship-wise about the work I've done, that you now will be seeing me a lot more often.
How about that? How about that? And speaking of that, let us talk about real quickly about the book that we haven't really touched on at this point, the one that you have coming out.
Yeah. So the one that I have here, Finding My Focus, or the
new one.
Yes. So Finding My Focus really is a book that I think people, I love going over to the park. So I will take a book like this and go and let the sun hit me on the face and break out a book and have my little notepad. So I created it as not just a book to read, but a little bit of a workbook, which asks you questions that you then have to answer. And it then becomes something that you use as a reference guide. Because once you say it, that this is where you want to go, this is what you want to do, and how you want to achieve it, it's in this workbook now that you can always use to move your life forward. So I'd encourage you to get it. Finding My Focus is now available, and I am actually providing it to youth-serving organizations for the summer, for out of school, for after school, and for out of school. So, I want kids learning on an ongoing basis, on a continuous basis. And as a serial entrepreneur now, I have a number of different things going on. People don't know that I've created a software for financial literacy.
Okay.
So our people, when we ask people, how did you learn about financial literacy? Trial and error. Right? But it's now mandated in at least 26 states that young people have to have personal finance in order to graduate from high school, which I think is magnificent. One of the things that has not happened since it came from a governor's office is that they didn't provide curriculum. I wrote a 14-lesson curriculum.
But guess what? Now, working through and with Mr. R.J. Watkins, the microphone will be yours to bring these things to the world.
Yep, absolutely.
To the world.
Absolutely.
And speaking of that, now there's another book that we have not spoken about.
Yeah.
We haven't talked. Can you give us about 2 or 3 minutes of that?
Yeah, real quickly, it's an entrepreneur's guide. And it is designed for, again, young people that are interested in starting a business. So, my boots are on the ground. I teach for local community college, Wayne County Community College District, and for the University of Phoenix. And those young people that are looking to start a business, I put on workshops for both of those institutions, talking about entrepreneurship, what's involved from the marketing standpoint, from the business development, whether you ought to have an LLC or a DBA. And we go through those basics, to really make sure that people can start their business the way they want to. And so this book is really designed, and I'm trying to make it electronic, really designed to walk you through the business plan development stage so that they can get off the ground.
All right. And so, family, what we want to demonstrate to you today is this. You're trying to do something. You got something going on. Mm-hmm. You want to call the studios of TV33, WHPR, WHPS, and ask us to be on that Talk B. Jones show, the show that can make things happen for you. But when you do that, I need you to help me stay on the airways and stay on the good side, and not just stay on the good side, but be an aid to Mr. R.J. Watkins and this station by putting a little something on the table. Not asking my guest today, because my guest has filled my pockets up today. Woo! Filled them up with that love.
Yeah.
But I'm saying to those out there who are trying to get themselves going, help me help you and help the station, because we got it going. We have it going on, and we can help you on your journey. So come on in. Come on in. Don't be scared. Come on in. I am Billy Jones, your guy. Talk B. Jones. We're on the air every Wednesday from 10 to 11. And also you can watch us on Sundays on 15.2. You can go to YouTube, TV33, on demand. And, of course, you can always watch us on the R.J. Watkins page. You can scroll through that page. You can continue to watch the program from here to now on, as well as just spread the love. Mr. Foxworth, you got a few words to say before we go off the air.
I really just want to encourage people to continue to tune in to Talk Beat Jones. I think he has a platform that you all should be listening to. It's meaningful, it's purposeful, and that's what I'm about. It's really finding a way to be meaningful, purposeful from my upbringing to now. How can I help people move forward and get out of situations that they currently find themselves in as it relates to business and finding a passion?
And family, you will be hearing more of, what's your name again, sir?
Edward Foxworth III.
And that program will be brought to you by Mr. R.J. Watkins. Again, family, we love you, appreciate you. My father, I love you. And family, love us, share us, and let the people know it's your program, The Talk B. Jones with Billy E. Jones. Be back. See you soon. Love you. Bye now.
You wouldn't have to go anywhere because this is the Talk B. Jones.